Well, if you ever wondered why some diets like the low carb or the zone work for your friends but not for you, well, it might be all in your genes. A new study says your DNA can affect your weight loss. Joy Howe shows us how shedding those unwanted pounds could be just a cheek swab away.
We've all got them.
In particular, arms, legs.
Those annoying trouble spots. And after all the running and pumping just isn't enough, many of us push the blame to something else.
But I also have like a really slow metabolism, and I know that comes from my family, genes.
Dieting. It can feel like running in place.
I tried the insulin resistance diet, the Megan Fox water and vinegar diet.
Lindsay wants to lose 20 pounds, Danette 30, and Lewis 40 pounds. Each has tried many different diets with no long-term success.
I've tried low carbs, high protein, low fats. I've tried them all.
I'd lose 20 pounds, and within 2 months, I'd put it back on.
Have you ever noticed that some people can eat certain foods and not seem to gain weight, but you just seem to look at it and put on the pounds? It could be differences in your DNA. Now, a new at-home kit can test your DNA and determine what kind of diet and exercise would work better for your body.
If you've tried to lose weight but you just can't, the problem may be in your genes.
A company says a new test that they developed can look deep into your DNA and find out which type of diet will help you drop the pounds.
Researchers say a new DNA test can determine the best way for you to lose weight.
All right, so everyone's tried every diet. You've tried them all and they don't work. One works for your friend, doesn't work for you. Now there's this company.
We know why now.
There's a company that claims there is your genes will tell you what kind of diet you should be on. There is a genetic...
Not your blue genes, your genetic genes.
So what they do is you swab the inside of your mouth, you put the little Q-tip in the mail and send it off, and they will tell you if you should be on low carb, low fat, zone.
Just from your spit.
Because, yeah, apparently they can figure out everything
I thought
from
it
your
had
spit.
to be a blood test. This is just spit.
No, it's your DNA.
We've come a long way in this
world. But can you imagine that you would know? Because how many people have tried low carb and all their friends are losing weight? They're like, it's not working for me.
Right.
Then they try the
now
protein.
We'll find out.
Now we can know.
It's called interleukin.
Interleukin Genetics studied people on diets that matched their DNA and found they lost more weight than those on diets that did not match their DNA. Over a year, the DNA dieters lost an average of 13 pounds compared to 4 pounds for the others. Researchers at Stanford University found that a simple DNA test can predict if you will lose more weight on a low-carb diet or a low-fat one.
You can scientifically determine which diet is best for any given person.
I've always been on diets my whole life.
But Amy Katzis says she's finally figured out how to lose the weight and keep it off.
My goal weight was around 150 and I ended up at 138.
So how'd Amy do it? She first took a new genetic test developed by Interleukin Genetics. She sent in a swab of her cheek and received diet and exercise advice based on her own individual DNA.
I know that I need to be on a reduced carb diet, and I know I need to work out as well.
It's a well-documented genetic information that says that individuals absorb more fat because of their genes, or less fat, burn carbohydrates differently, respond to exercise differently.
What the test does is pull out which version of DNA you have, and then a diet and exercise plan is designed to fit your genetic makeup.
We can describe for people, will you do better on a low-fat diet or a low-carbohydrate diet?
Amy says knowing that she needs to exercise and stay away from carbs helped her stay on track and keep the weight off for more than a year now.
This is what works for me according to my DNA.
You've heard about blood type tests and all these things, you know, the blood diet, you know, all these different diets. This one, honestly, is, you know, it's kind of CSI.
Scott Caldwell, owner and trainer here at Snap Fitness in Alexandria,
Good job.
says there's a way to kickstart your weight loss just by targeting your genes.
They send you the kit, you swab your cheek, you put it in, you send it off to their lab, then they test it. And then based on the results of this test, they can tell you, based on your genes, your DNA makeup, you know, this is how you should eat. This is how you should exercise.
Interleukin Genetics developed the test, Stanford University did the study, and just last year, the Wall Street Journal proclaimed it works. In fact, with this hereditary approach to fitness, the dieters lost 2.5 to 5 times more weight than those not on the plan.
This diet is specific. This says joy. We're looking at very specific genes in your body. Your DNA, you're predisposed for this. Therefore, you need to do this.
So, just a cheek swab, and a few weeks later, there's a detailed plan made just for you. Which type of exercise and how much? What type of diet? Fewer carbs or maybe less fat? And finally, some suggested supplements from Nutrilite, the first company to introduce multivitamins to the world back in 1934. Scott says he can spend up to 4 months figuring out what kind of exercises work for somebody's body.
Now, with the results of this test, now I know what your metabolic type is. Based on your metabolics and how your body reacts, guess what? I can, from day one, prescribe a plan that's going to start that week working for you where I have to spend 4 months.
Which means those instant results we all want just got a whole lot faster.
The faster the better.
Maybe some of us with weight loss needs would try it, but how about this guy? Jeremy George, nicknamed the Tank by his co-exercisers. With 3-hour workouts, he says time is money, and he likes the idea of getting more workout bang for his buck.
Findings like this can help millions of people. Almost 4 inches on your waist.
Kenny has now lost 60 pounds.
The key with this test is that out of the literally hundreds of genes that have been studied relative to weight gain and obesity, this test involves 4 well-documented genes where the science is very, very strong.
The genes show how the body's enzymes respond to carbohydrates, fats, and exercise. With that information, Interleukin will recommend one of 3 ways of dieting: low carb, low fat, or a balance of fat and carbs. Low calorie and regular exercise are part of all of the recommendations. Now Lewis is making a smaller plate for himself and is learning about different kinds of carbs. Danette is reevaluating what she eats. Interleukin recommends different low-carb diets like Atkins, South Beach, or The Zone. She's using the online tools to calculate her calorie and carb intake, and she's going to try to increase her exercise regimen. Lindsay's results were different. Her DNA indicated a low-fat diet and moderate exercise are best.
I could see either of these things making a lot of sense to me, but I've never done them together.
And by the way, Ken, Lewis already lost 5 pounds in his first 10 days, so he's off to a good start.